Welcome back to the Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're in deep shit right now.
Just a bit.
A bit?
Not really. I would argue.
Honestly, James, we've been in far worse than this before.
Yeah, we've been in worse shit than the one we're in currently right now. If I'm going to be honest with you.
Compared to
Doesn't
the
mean
fall,
the shit we're in now is any less.
We've literally been walking on top of shit on chapter 10. So
True.
yeah.
Yeah, now the sewer level, that was that. The Sector 7 falling
Well,
thing,
that's too easy for that.
the Sector 7 falling down upon us, that was Firecraft too. Hell, and then there was Cloud nearly dying. On several occasions, mind you.
Mm.
Just think about this like incredibly intense exercise, guys, and we'll be fine.
Nope.
Cloud, not for nothing, but the exercises don't normally include, robots chasing us or buildings falling down on us.
To be fair, exercises also don't include us being controlled by Britishmen, but here we are.
You're not supposed to be this self-aware.
But we're sophisticated.
Hey,
Shiro, hold on.
Oh, here we are. You remember
What a
this from the
lovely
commercial.
panorama.
You know, this would be a beautiful sunset if it weren't for the ruins before us.
What have we become?
Well, actually, it's more.
Rubble.
Well, actually, that's not really what you're supposed to get from this. It's more so. Yeah, exactly.
With blackjack and hookers.
Yeah. This
Well, I've
place is
seen these
beautiful
moments
and
so
everyone's
often, that's the
dying.
first thing that comes to my head.
So, considering I've been children to you, would you say the new bar will be better?
I don't remember how it looks like in Advent
Okay,
Children.
interesting,
Everything's fucking grey in Advent Children.
My point exactly.
Which is interesting because Nomura said in the behind-the-scenes video that Advent Children was the blueprint for the visuals of this game, and so
I guess I can.
Maybe on on a considering how things are designed, the architecture and everything, it's just made it more colorful in terms of a palette.
I could see it being a blueprint in the cases like, okay, this is what the characters will look like in HD as opposed to just looking like, 32-bit block people.
It's also helpful in terms of, technology marches on. Remember, the entire shtick about Advent Children Visual Cerebrals was that they couldn't do Red 13 because of, their technology at the time, but story for another time. Because now it's time to actually face, well, for now run, but soon enough face the boss.
Okay.
Alright, Dwibs, cue the Crash Bandicoot music.
Which
like
one?
I said,
The second game.
to be honest, it's like what I said before. I don't know if I said this before, but this is a playthrough I'm going to do my best to keep relatively edit-free because there's a lot of important story beats in that I think throwing in a lot of the editing stuff.
I didn't say you should have edited the part, Dwibs, whatever. Alright, unless you're playing with Barrett, the worst thing about this fight is the camera, so enjoy.
Yeah, that's my thing about these boss fights. They don't really lock onto the enemy, so you have to keep twisting the camera.
Actually,
around.
Dwibs, you can, R3. The point being that the boss flies constantly, most of the time anyway, so the most ideal strategy will be to build the ATB with Barret and then use magic until the boss decides to use one of its attacks, where it will go down actually. And keep in mind, you have to actually trace the area of attack where the boss will land, because otherwise it will be pretty devastating.
As you can imagine, if you don't have one of Barrett's gun weapons attached and have
You're
more of the physical
screwed.
ones, yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Well, okay. You're screwed in the sense that you're in for a very long and arduous battle.
Remember, Cloud and Tifa can occasionally jump him whenever he comes across above the bridge, the platform that we're on. So it's still beatable without it. It will just take longer.
My point exactly. Like I said, you're screwed in the sense that you have a long and arduous battle.
All right, I guess time for my spiel. I guess.
How's this in hard mode?
In hard mode, it's not that. Okay, here's what it does in hard mode. In hard mode, it has kind of this thing where there's this. I actually don't remember if maybe I killed it too fast on the first run I played, but it has this little barrier energy thing that traps you and does a lot of damage. I don't remember it doing it the first time I fought it.
Actually, I remember I encountered it in my site either, so.
Because, well, remember too, like I've already said, some of these bosses.
There we go.
gain
When he's doing
more-
like this, run because that happens.
Well, so like we've already established, they've actually did alter some of the bosses for the hard mode.
yeah.
Not all of them, but some of them.
That looked like
And this
it
is one,
hurt.
and if I remember, and unless I'm mistaken, this is one of them. I don't. Basically, there's like this big barrier thing of energy that hurts you on hard mode. I don't remember. Maybe I just killed the boss too quick, but I don't remember it being on normal mode there.
But yeah, interesting way they repurposed the heli gunner to be instead placeable here. I mean, it makes sense. The original game climb was very short, and you didn't encounter any enemy at all. But here, you know, I argue. Okay, I can imagine it will be a bit overkill for Shinra to still patrolling even the rubbles, the high rubbles of sector, of sector
Tio,
7.
Tio, I think Shinra stopped caring about overkill when they dropped a giant plate on the city.
Oh boy, here we go. And to their credit,
Oh,
as
never mind. There it is.
as Don Corneo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Sorry, go on.
To the credit, as Don Corneo mentioned, they're apparently aware that the members of Avalanche still survive. So I guess they would want to keep their eyes peeled whatsoever.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Now it start also using satellite laser attacks.
Alright,
Well,
come
why-
on, Shiva.
Well, what I can tell you is that exploiting its weakness to thunder damage. Well, actually, it kind of switches. But yeah, exploiting its elemental weakness is essential in beating this in hard mode. Aside from that, yeah, there's not that much in terms of difference. Just keep yourself healing.
No more playing.
There we go.
Right, let's cross-slash it while it's still in buried.
Nice.
Basically, there you go. You had to keep constant dodging constantly because otherwise the satellite laser will lock onto you and deal, massive damage.
Okay. Bum rush the freak out of this guy now.
There we go.
Valkyrie is defeated.
We win again. Not that there was ever any.
Sure, Barrett.
But why do I get the feeling that something's... Yeah.
Self-destruct.
Now what?
Yeah.
And Cloud's face should have been burnt off.
No, dude, it's like Maria Hill in the Avengers movie. She only gets a scar, a temporary scar.
Well, if it's a scar, then it shouldn't be...
Sorry,
temporary.
Barrett, you're too heavy.
Use your grappling hook. Thank God. Jeez. Thank God for those grappling hooks.
Oh, you were saying...
You were saying, Jova?
Well, they did their job for the most part. And I reiterate my point. Thank God for
For a
those
second there, I
grappling
thought-
hooks.
For a second there, I thought the grappling hook was gonna hit Barrett in his side or something.
Oof. Poor Barrett.
It's just not going very well for him today, is it?
Nope.
Could be worse.
Well, yeah. I mean, it could be squished.
A little piece of feedback for me, like when it comes to this scene that we just saw. I personally would have directed it a bit differently there. Hold on, let me wait till it finishes though.
And there's still more to come.
Guess so.
Wink, wink.
Hope everybody's warmed up.
Can you imagine if the game actually cut off here?
Yeah, but
Alright, so Midgar, there's a giant hole in it now. But anyway, go on, Pedro.
But yeah, personally, I would have had Tifa pull Barrett up on her own, and Cloud would go like try to help her, but then she's like, "No, I got it." it would have served as and she would just pull him up. It would serve as a nice foreshadowing for how super strong she would become.
That's one thing. There's a bit of a cutscene incompetence, the fact that Tifa conveniently forgets that she's super strong.
I guess to be fair,
she can literally juggle.
Okay.
Even the original game is guilty of this.
Okay.
Well, I know, but remake
So anyway,
and all.
chapter
Also,
16, the
there you
belly
go.
of the beast.
Trader shot. Java?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, considering what was going on at the moment, it would kind of be more out of character for her to shirk Cloud's out, considering how, literally, if that doesn't work, Barrett dies, and considering how concerned Tifa is for everyone's safety, I guess she would probably more appreciate the help. Now, if this were, like, say, something, where, it wasn't a matter of life or death, then she'd assure Cloud that she could do it on her own. But, given how stressful the situation is, she doesn't want to take any chances.
I agree with you, Java, but the cutscene specifically shows her struggling, and Cloud has to come to help her.
Well, okay, in that case, maybe she really does have that much trouble and she's only super strong gameplay-wise.
Well, that's the thing. I understand why they directed it that way. They wanted to show how the
teamwork,
how they've become such a really united team that works well together. So I understand why Nomura directed it that way. So that's okay.
I'm wondering if Tifa's...
Okay, so
Nomura's all about friendship, so of course.
Again. I'm wondering if Tifa's super duper strength is only going to be reserved for the gameplay, like.
Right, so
yes,
okay, so like in the previous game, we've got to infiltrate the Shinra building and rescue Era from it. Now, one thing again, you know how in the playthrough of the original, you guys know how I felt about the music choice when we get to the Shinra building.
What?
Actually, I don't remember that. Can you give me a refresher?
Well, I wasn't really a huge fan of how repetitive I felt the Shinra building music was. So at the very least, there's more variety in the music in the remake.
Good for you.
Also,
it wasn't a straight out complaint at all. Like, I don't really mind the team being directed that way. It's just that I'm just saying how I personally might have done it, or at the very least try to reach a compromise between what I said and what Jova said.
Like I said, I'm wondering if maybe, okay, obviously Tifa's super strength was all up on display in the original, but I'm wondering if they're trying to go for a quote-unquote more realistic sense. We're going, oh, that'll strictly only be a gameplay thing, but in story, she can't really bench press a diamond monster, which would, I'll admit, be a shame.
I like yeah, true. However, at the same time, like I myself said, it was also the same thing even the original game didn't do a good job in portraying Tifa's strength in the story. So
I guess it's a matter of them trying to decide. That said, like I said, it would be a shame if they made it that she actually only is that strong in gameplay as opposed to it being that. Then again, I guess one would have to wonder, okay, how is this girl this strong without any use of Mako?
That is true, actually. Yeah. Now that it boils down to the fact that they made her cartoonishly strong just because they thought it would look cool and didn't think of whether or not it would fit in the context of the world.
It's strongly implied that Zangan's teaching was so mysterious that it had something to do with that. Because Zangan was preaching all about the teachings of martial art without enhancements like that.
Well, now that just means that...
If anything, it's something that the remake actually could expand upon.
These are some very weird placements for.
Okay, this one actually I do believe makes more sense, Dwibs, because it's actually closer to the Shinra building, and it's on a parchment that it's normally probably patrolled by people who have to do maintenance to the place.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? I forgot what I was saying. All right, there you go. Now we already started seeing that in now the trio started to get on topside, but now this is sort of the moment where while the game presents the same story, the way the characters get from point A to point B changes a bit. For starters, we're not anymore doing the proper entrance to the Shinra building, but the characters are opting to enter from a parking lot. Keep in mind, the choice between taking the elevator or the stairs will still be present. It's just the way the characters will get to that point. But the proper also infiltration to the Shinra building would be radically different in other ways. But all in due time.
Back to the talk about Tifa's strength, that really does make one wonder, how much stronger would Tifa have been if her master hadn't gotten her out of there, and she had ended up getting experimented on with Mako as well, considering how she's already pretty naturally strong as well.
Well, if I had to all guess, Jova, the entire moral lesson is the fact that yes, Mako gives you strength, but the cost is either your sanity or potentially your physical appearance, because you may ended up becoming a monster. So take your pick, I guess.
Which is funny because from what we've seen, most employees of Soldier seem just fine. But then again, that is also
well, Hope does state later on in the original game that everyone who participate in the Soldier project eventually is doomed to become a monster.
Okay, okay. Shinra, all Shinra soldiers must have some sort of weird peripheral vision.
It were using Metal Gear logic.
How do I look up, sir?
Yeah.
How do I look up, sir?
It's just a pigeon.
Or maybe, or even better to Dr. Lautrec logic, because the guards in the stealth sections of Dr. Lautrec also had tunnel vision. So.
Yeah. You guards! It's a wonder Shinra has to get broken into every day because of how incompetent you are.
Dwibs, remember, this
Oh, never mind.
Did I do that?
Well done, Barrett. You could have made more of a better attempt to hold onto the Ruku and the seal.
I'm sorry.
Remember, the Final Fantasy series shtick is ripping off Star Wars, so obviously the soldiers are just as dumb as stormtroopers. So.
Like, where did you come from? All you had to do was look up.
I was about to say,
like, just slightly.
Even so, depth perception, they should have seen them from the truck that was getting from the distance.
So the heroes come from above. Where'd you come from? Gee, what other vantage points are there up there, geniuses?
Whatever, Shiroi, still not as bad as a guard thinking it's nighttime just because he heard an owl. Okay, another cool thing about the little tip. This is the best spot in the game for grinding for XP and AP. Why? Because it's a very quick process that you can easily load back the chapter back in as soon as you're done with this.
That may come in handy later.
No duh. Well, technically we already had a motorcycle section in this remake. But, yeah. If you make good use of the AP up materia, plus the fact that when you finish the game once, the game triples your XP and doubles your AP, so it will make it a lot easier to grind in this by repeating this section over and over, basically.
But don't you see, guys? Those boxes represent the buildings that squished our neighbors. So I'm gonna destroy the boxes in retaliation.
Good for you, Dwibs.
Well, you're supposed to do it anyway because they're kind of like the pots in Zelda. They have items in there, so why not?
No, I meant the regular cardboard boxes.
Those have items in them.
As far as I'm concerned, all boxes are the enemy.
Well, good, because you know the boxes have items in them.
No, maybe Jova, maybe those are like the pots in Pokemon Gen 3. You have to analyze all of them, and none of them actually have items in them, even though they give you the false hope.
So, I guess Cloud's just the lucky guy who didn't get turned into a monster by all that Mako.
Yeah, pretty much. Or it may be a process that may take years or something. Like, it's weird for how it's handled, especially because thanks to the... I know I'm not talking about this game particularly, not this game in particular, but thanks to the compilation, we also know that Soldier get divided into two branches, the Project G and the Project S, which gave... Remember, Jova, those who have been experimenting Project G turned into monster much easier, much sooner than expected. But Zack miraculously does not. So I have no idea what happened.
Protagonist immunity too.
Okay. I can see what you mean. So it's like, well, the story could have at least have tried to come up with a reason as to why some people don't get warped.
Like the cellular degeneration in monster, turning into a monster is actually a very strong plot point, especially in the later part of Crisis Core. A couple of bosses are also studied around this condition, and yet I don't think Zack ever questions that about himself.
Like, think about it. It's like if we had an established zombie disease that afflicts you, but then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, it turns out that all you needed was friendship and poof, you're back to normal.
Wow, now we're getting to the point where Cloud's giant-ass sword doesn't get rid of the enemy's health very quickly, but Tifa and her fists can.
Well, Dwibs, have you actually been leveling up your Buster Sword?
Well, remember, I do it I've set it to do it automatically.
Well, in that case, it should. At least, you're playing on easy mode, right?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, it should. Unless, of course, you probably have something wrong with your equipment or your materia setting.
Or Dwibs' standard definitions of getting rid of the enemy faster are very picky.
Or Cloud has a defective Buster Sword.
Dwibs, that Buster Sword is special. Don't call it defective.
Yeah.
He was one of the unlucky souls who got his sword on the day he graduated from training to be a soldier. But they just gave the sword he was given just happened to be one that wasn't as effective as the others.
There you go, Pedro. They keep the all caps lock for the soldier units.
Yeah. Well,
And also, if I recall correctly, the standard rifle, soldiers are called grunts. So
So every time we see a soldier, it's all in caps lock. So we got to yell it now. Instead of saying soldier, you say soldier.
Funny you man, keep that in mind, Dwibs, for a future playthrough. Keep that in mind.
Come on, guys.
Yes.
Let's keep on moving.
No, Pedro, you don't know yet about this.
Oh, I thought you were mentioning Master, you know who, right?
No. Well, Jova doesn't know either. No one knows, actually.
Alright, let's take the escalator.
Or maybe I do know, and I'm just playing
Goddamn,
with you.
Dwibs, you're dead lazy.
Take the stairs.
No,
Do exercise.
Cloud's been running around all day. He needs to just stand.
That's
for it.
not enough.
This bit is so awkward. This is straight out of Seinfeld. You're just beating the enemies, and then a moment after, you're just awkwardly taking the escalator like that.
And it's very quiet, which adds to it.
Going on.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, okay.
James.
Hey, Cloud needs to get some exercise and training.
Whoa.
What better training than walking up and down escalator?
So you literally go from Cloud needs a break to Cloud needs exercise.
Alright, here's your first major twist.
Jova, it's an unfair world.
Here's your first major twist. The ground floor has been completely evacuated.
Shoot, is the merchant even here?
Honestly, when I first arrived around here, I was like, wait, why? Like, the reason in the original game they run away from you, that is correct. But if you take the stealth option, they don't even notice you. But here, you did cause a ruckus in the garage, in the parking lot. You did still manage to pull through without making yourself to notice. So, what happened?
Maybe.
Maybe we can use the console at the reception desk to find out.
But of course, it's blocked by a holographic barrier. Well, not so much holographic because it's very tangible.
Hey guys, check around. I hear that Shinra loves to have this cool car porn commercial of theirs.
Alright.
Well, it usually was on the first floor, Cloud, but I don't think it's here anymore.
Oh, God, so much stuff feels different for some reason.
Also, I forgot if it was Shira or Jova who complained about too much self-aware of Cloud. Remember, in the original game, he constantly knew about Dick Layton being the director, so what do I know?
Alright, guys, can you
That's
tell me when you
something
get
that's missing
to...
from here.
Can you tell...
So, how do we get upstairs?
We just walk up the stairs, Barrett.
Well, not 2 upstairs, Drova.
We're looking for on one of the top floors.
So he's getting his exercise now, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, still taking the stairs.
Yep, I figured I
Oh,
should.
now that is actually an interesting motorcycle, Drova.
Yes, that does look like a very good one. Would you
Unnecessarily overcomplicated, my favorite.
well, not as complicated as Fenrir.
Cloud, no!
Well,
Not the
They
chair!
were clean, damn it.
Walter, do we know who designed the motorcycle originally? back in the
Nomura,
original?
Nomura. Makes
okay.
makes so much sense.
Oh,
Alright,
okay.
Dwibs, and go.
Because that's exactly it. I was gonna ask. If we didn't know, I was gonna assume that it was
It's
no more because of
also-
how very complicated it is.
It's also a staple of 80s anime, like having these
Yeah,
super detailed vehicle porn, the
You know what?
motorcycle. Akira is one of the best offender to that.
You know what I noticed is like, well, that motorcycle is literally a fusion of Cloud's motorcycle from the original 7 and Fenrir from Advent Children. For those who don't know, Fenrir is a very, 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 very complex-looking motorcycle that Cloud owns. Because, get it? Cloud's a lone wolf.
Think we're gonna need
Drova, the actual Fenrir, mark that he has on his new costume and children tells you also that.
The reception desk.
Yeah, but how to get in?
Seriously, who the
The
heck
music's
guards
kind of
an...
nice here.
over, maybe?
Yeah, it is. Who the heck guards an entire case with a laser field?
Pretty sure we
Well,
could reach
okay,
it if we
plenty
walk
of people
across the
do, but
Alright,
yes.
and go.
I don't know.
I
get
just
the
switched,
feeling we
I
may
switched
have
to
to
my
do- I get the feeling we may have
Yeah.
to do some
I think I'll give it a
platforming.
shot.
Wait,
Tifa's
Alright,
gonna
it's,
do
it's
it.
time for Tifa to shine.
I've got the best chance. You two can sit back and watch.
Cloud
Cloud is
looks so confused.
Yeah, not just that. Cloud is pouty. Like, whatever. I'm still the better anyway.
It's not like I wanted to go with you or anything.
Hey, hey, do you have a giant sword?
Aren't I always?
Exactly.
Oh,
Alright, so basically, use the analog stick to shift around and jump by pushing it forward.
so this game handles platforming better than the 13 trilogy. Good to
well,
know.
maybe but this is still relatively scripted, Jova, where you don't really have a chance to fail.
Yeah, this is
pretty much.
scripted. So
My
it doesn't really
point-
count.
That's my point, is like it handles the platforming better than the 13 trilogy, dude.
I don't say. I won't say. Oh, but Tifa, what was the
No!
plan?
Tifa, you
Seriously.
klutz! What are you doing?
You guys can sit back and watch.
Yeah, sit
Smash
back
cut.
and...
Alright, I'm editing
Oh!
that in like a smash cut. Why not?
You two can sit back and watch.
A few inches later.
Oh, look at that! Yo, that truck looks familiar
It's
too,
a-
doesn't it?
It's a good thing we have those incredibly conveniently placed mattresses.
I know,
for some
right?
reason- for some reason.
That and Tifa must have a very well cushioned tush to have not have literally broken the bones there.
I mean, she landed on her back.
She landed on a mattress though. I mean, depends on how good the mattress is, I guess.
Oh,
That
there's a
looked-
weapon there.
That looks
you're
like
gonna
a
get
pretty
that
thin
chest, Dwibs?
Mastis.
Because
Yes.
that chest right there is actually Tifa's best weapon in the game.
Oh,
And the final one that she gets in this game.
well. good
Also,
work,
Dwibs,
then.
ideally, what crash music would you accompany for these monkey bars?
What crash music? Say the one from the second game.
Oh, I was
Alright,
gonna
so
say,
the sewer stage.
I was going to say the Arabian one.
Same.
Purple pain.
Because that one actually has sort of monkey bar type thing.
So anyway, now we get Purple Pain. It's not purple exactly, but
It's a shade of purple.
Bruises are
Oh.
purple, which is what she's dealing.
It looks a bit more magenta than anything.
Magenta is
I guess-
technically considered a shade of purple.
What about?
I guess isn't it the priority taken from being one of the primary three colors?
So anyway, I'm equipping the barrier material and binding. Yeah, barrier and binding. That should be the name of a bed and breakfast.
Basically, one of the later dossier of Charlie is for you to level up all the the magic materials to their maximum level, basically unlocking all the spells that you can in the game. So it's good to actually have the one that you normally won't use much, like the debuff inflicting ones.
So I'm curious, Dwibs, did you actually fail on purpose because you knew that would allow you to get Tifa's best weapon?
No,
That's grammar, Jova. That section is scripted. The only reason it's not a proper cutscene is because essentially it's the game cutting a bit of the corners by having dynamic cutscenes with the characters doing stuff in game. It's
okay. Now here's
here's
a tricky thing about these monkey bars. There's a set path you have to follow that's indicated by those really bright purple lights above you.
Yep. Follow the neon.
So what you're telling me is that it's scripted that Tifa's supposed to fall there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was worried when I played that section that I messed up, and that apparently there was a way to do it
I got
flawlessly.
that feeling too, Jova, the first time, but then it was like, no, it doesn't. I didn't really have that much of a choice.
Damn, so if that match just wasn't there, Tifa could have died.
Or, well, not necessarily, but she landed on her bomb, so the worst thing possible, breaking the bottom bone of your spine, which is the worst thing that can happen to you.
Yeah.
Well, there's always the cure spell.
Do we know if that can mend bones?
Dwibs.
Supposedly.
Okay, Brits, I need your help now. What's the potion spell that Harry Potter universe uses against broken bones?
We don't use spells. We use. Oh no, I got it. Brachium Emendo. Although Gildry Lockhart.
Well, it didn't really break a. It didn't really fix the bones. Exactly.
Well, hey! At least there aren't any bones broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead we've got blood bending.
Yeah, I remember that spell as Tia was asking. I just didn't remember the name. Thanks, Des.
I know that later on the nurse uses a potion. But I had asked both possibilities, Joe, because I forgot which specific one was.
I don't think they actually stated the name of the potion.
Oh God, I feel like
I just remember that just to be cookie, they decided to give it an actual skull shape to the bottle because why not?
And apparently it just tasted disgusting.
Oh wait, hold on. Actually, no. That potion didn't mend the bones; it had to regrow them.
Regrow because
that sounds even worse.
Harry had to drink this
okay.
potion called
Skelegrow.
And it was apparently it tastes horrible.
Yeah.
All right, Dwibs, make your gray cells working.
It's like the nurse herself said. Fixing the bones would have been easier, but regrowing them, well, yeah. Went about as well as you can imagine.
I get the feeling this is gonna have to do this off screen in between parts.
Dwibs, what did you ask me about? Not speeding things up for the sake of plot being relevant.
Theo, bear in mind, I did cut out a huge portion of an earlier bit where I was lost and didn't know what car to get on.
There
we go.
You still have to see that. There you are.
All right.
It's very stealthy, Shiroi.
Yes, this music is very Mission Impossible-esque.
As for the color tail, maybe Ferrari wanted to make preferred magenta paint, but those are like, no, it has to stay purple paint, dude. Sorry.
I mean, hey, gotta get that alliteration.
Hey, what would a platform game be without platforms?
Bubsy 3D.
An RPG, apparently. That's the answer.
Whoop.
But what's this?
All right, and that's where we actually are. Again, remember, that's where we landed first. Actually, not really, but actually we're still close to where we did land originally. All right. All right, Tifa, can you make it this time? Once more with purpose.
Okay, now you just have to swing across to those other lines.
Hey, wait a minute. You don't do swinging from chandeliers. You don't do this in the original. Where are the Dementors to set this right, damn it?
good question.
Honestly, I'm more surprised that the mentors didn't pull down the barrier themselves just so they could get the key card immediately.
I guess they figured, nah, this lady's got it. No need to strain ourselves.
But my guess is, Teo, they're waiting in the background. Like I see. Okay, let's see if they can manage to do this on their own. If they get to a point where they can, if it gets to a point where they're lasting hours to get through this, we'll just interact.
Hashtag nailed it.
Barrett and Cloud just got back from a coffee while they were waiting for all of us.
Yeah, pretty much. We had like a Starbucks.
Thank God Shinra leave the keys inside.
And now the barrier gets deactivated.
Yeah, but Tifa didn't do anything.
But I didn't do anything.
Wait a
You should be very suspicious of this.
Actually, we will be learning soon enough who actually did it.
Well, sure, maybe that's your clue to what Teo's question was from earlier about why we're not caught yet.
And also why the ground floor has been evacuated.
Let's just say you guys are in for quite a surprise.
Skyview Hall reception.
59th floor it is then.
Oh, it's not the 69th floor.
Not yet, Joseph.
That joke's too easy.
It's for later anyway.
So, in the next part, we'll have a huge decision to make. How we're going to get to floor 59. Now, like in the original, we can use one of two options. We can either take the stairs, or we can take the lift going up.
Indeed.
Now, and I'll be showing both off in the next part. But before we end this part, I've got a question for you guys. If you had to, if there was absolutely no other option but for you to do what Tifa did earlier and swing from chandeliers to get to a place you wanted to go, would you do it?
I mean,
what do you mean, like in person?
Yeah, like would you do it if there was no other option?
Well, I would certainly try, but I'm clearly not the athletic build. At least not yet.
I'd try it.
Sure, why not? I mean, especially if it's the only way.
And would you do it if you knew that there was a conveniently placed, comfy little seat right below you?
Oh yeah, that makes it
that makes it even easier then.
What is the punchline when you pulled it out of our asses at the last minute?
I don't know. But anyway, we'll see you. We'll see you in the next part where we where I put Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett right through the ringer.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.